that doesn't know poetry from a cabbage. That's what you get for not keeping them in their proper place. Pulling up his shoes and trousers there on the chair before me so barefaced, without even asking permission, and standing out in that vulgar way, in the half of a shirt they wear to be admired like a priest or a butcher or those old hypocrites in the time of Julius Caesar. Of course, he's right. Enough in his way to pass the time as a joke. Sure, you might as well be in bed with what? With a lion? God, I'm sure he'd have something better to say for himself than old lion would. Well, I suppose it's because they were so plump and tempting in my short petticoat he couldn't resist. I excite myself sometimes. It's well for men, all the amount of pleasure they get off a woman's body. We're so round and white for them always. I wish I was one for myself for a change. Just to try with that thing they have swelling upon you so hard and at the same time so soft when you touch it. Men again all over. Oh, they can pick and choose what they please. A married woman or a fast widow or a girl for their different tastes. No, but we're to be always chained up. Well, they're not going to be chaining me up, no damn fear. Once I start, I tell you, for a stupid husband's jealousy. Why can't we remain friends over it instead of quarreling? Her husband found it out what they did together, well, naturally. And if he did, he can undo it. He's Coronado anyway, whatever he does. And then he, going to the other maddox to me about the wife in fair times. Of course, the man never even casts a second thought on the husband or wife. Either it's the woman he wants and gets her. What else were we given all those desires for, I'd like to know? I can't help it if I'm young still, can I? Oh, it's a wonder I'm not an old shriveled hag before my time, living with him so cold, never embracing me except sometimes when he's asleep. The wrong end of me, not knowing, I suppose, who he has. Oh, any man that'd kiss a woman's bottom, I'd throw my hat at him. After that, he'd kiss anything unnatural. Where we haven't one atom of any kind of expression in us. All of us the same, 2 lumps of lard. Oh, before I'd ever do that to a man. Phew, the dirty brutes. The mere thought is enough. I kissed the feet of you, señorita. Well, there's some sense in that. Didn't he kiss our hall door? Yes, he did. What a madman. Nobody understands his cracked ideas but me. Still, of course a woman wants to be embraced. 20 times a day almost, to make her look young, no matter by who. So long as to be in love or loved by somebody, if the fellow you want isn't there. Sometimes, by the Lord God, I was thinking, would I go around by the caves there some dark evening when nobody'd know me, and pick up a sailor off the sea that'd be hot on for it, and not care a pin whose I was, only to do it off up in a gate somewhere. Or one of those wild-looking gypsies in Rathfarnham, or that blackguard-looking fellow with the fine eyes peeling a switch, attack me in the dark and ride me up against the wall without a word. Or a murderer. Or anybody. What they do themselves, the fine gentlemen in their silk hats. That KC lives up somewhere this way. Coming up out of Hardwick Lane the night he gave us a fish supper on account of winning over the boxing match. Of course it was me he gave it for. I knew it by his gaiters in the walk, and when I turned around a minute after just to see, there was a woman after, coming out of it too, some filthy prostitute. And then he goes home to his wife after that. Only I suppose the half of those sailors are rotten again with disease. Oh, move over your big carcass out of that, for the love of Mike, listen to him. Oh, winds that waft my sighs to thee. So, well, he may sleep inside. The great suggester, Don Pablo de la Flora. If you knew how he came out on the cards this morning, he'd have something to sigh for. A dark man in some perplexity, between 2 sevens in prison, for Lord knows what he does that I don't know. And I'm to switching around down in the kitchen to get his lordship his breakfast. Well, he's rolled up like a mummy. Will I indeed? Did you ever see me running? I just like to see myself at it. Show them attention and they treat you like dirt. I don't care what anybody says. It'd be much better for the world to be governed by the women in it. You wouldn't see women going and killing one another and slaughtering. When do you ever see women rolling around drunk like they do, or gambling every penny they have and losing it on horses? Yes, because a woman, whatever she does, she knows where to stop. Sure, they wouldn't be in the world at all, only for us. They don't know what it is to be a woman and a mother. How could they? Where would they, all of them, be if they hadn't a mother to look after them? What I never had. And that's why I suppose he's running wild now, out at night, away from his books and studies and not living at home, on account of the usual rowdy house, I suppose. Well, it's a poor case that those that have a fine son like that, they're not satisfied, and I none. Was he not able to make one? Oh, it wasn't my fault. We came together when I was watching the two dogs up in her behind in the middle of the naked street. Oh, that dog disheartened me altogether. I suppose I ought to have buried him in that little woolly jacket I knitted, crying as I was, but to give it to some poor child. But I knew well I'd never have another. Our first death, too, it was. We were never the same since. Oh, I'm not going to think myself into glooms about that anymore. I wonder why he wouldn't stay the night. I felt all the time it was somebody strange he brought in, instead of rolling around the city meeting God knows who, the night walkers and pickpockets. His poor mother wouldn't like that if she was alive, ruining himself for life perhaps. Still, it's a lovely hour so silent. I used to love coming home after dances, the air, the night. They have friends they can talk to, we've none. Either he wants what he won't get, or it's some woman ready to stick a knife in him. I hate that in women. No wonder they treat us the way they do. We are a dreadful lot of bitches. I suppose it's all the troubles we have makes us so snappy. I'm not like that. He could easily have slept there on the sofa in the other room. I suppose he was shy as a boy, being so young, hardly 20, of me in the next room. He'd have heard me on the chamber. What harm, Douglas, I wonder. It's like those names in Gibraltar, De La Paz, De La Gracia. They had the devil's queer names there. Father Villalplana, Santa Maria that gave me the rosary. Rosales y Horario in the Calle Las Siete Revueltas, and Pisimbo, and Mrs. Opiso in Governor Street. Oh, what a name! I'd go drown myself in the first river if I had a name like her. Oh my. And all the bits of streets, Paradise Ramp, and Bedlam Ramp, and Rogers Ramp, and Crutches Ramp, and the Devil's Gap steps. Well, small blame to me if I am a harum scarum. I know I am a bit. I declare to God I don't feel a day older than then. I wonder, could I get my tongue around any of the Spanish? ¿Cómo está usted? Muy bien, gracias. ¿Usted? See, I haven't forgotten it all. I thought I had, only for the grammar. And now it is the name of any person, place, or thing. Pity I never tried to read that novel, Cantankerous Mrs. Rubio lent me by the letter, with the questions in it all upside down, the two ways. I always knew we'd go away in the end. I can tell him the Spanish and he tell me the Italian, and then he'll see I'm not so ignorant. What a pity he didn't stay. I'm sure the poor fellow was dead tired and wanted a good sleep badly. I could have brought him his breakfast in bed with a bit of toast, so long as I didn't do it on a knife for bad luck. Or if the woman was going around with the watercress and something nice and tasty. There are a few olives in the kitchen he might like. I never could bear the look of them. The room looks all right since I changed it the other way. You see, something was telling me all the time. I'd have to introduce myself, not knowing me from Adam. Very funny, wouldn't it? I'm his wife. Or pretend we were in Spain with him half awake without a god's notion of where he is. Dos huevos estrellados, Señor Lord. The crap things that come into my head sometimes. It'd be great fun. Supposing he stayed with us, why not? There's room upstairs empty, and Millie's bed in the back room. He could do his writing and studies at the table there for all the scribbling he does at it. And if he wants to read in bed in the morning like me, as he's making himself breakfast for one, he can make it for two. I'm sure I'm not going to take in lodgers up the street for him if he takes this Gustavo of a house like this. Oh, I'd love to have a long talk with an intelligent, well-educated person. I'd have to get a nice pair of red slippers, like those Turks with the feds used to sell, or yellow, and a nice semi-transparent morning gown that I badly want, or a peach blossom dressing jacket like the one long ago in Walpole's, only 8 and 6 or 18 and 6. I'll just give him one more chance. I'll get up early in the morning. I'm sick of Corn's old bed in any case. I might go over to the markets to see all of the vegetables and cabbages and tomatoes and carrots and all kinds of splendid fruits all coming in lovely and fresh. And who knows who'd be the first man I'd meet. They're out there looking for it in the morning. Mamie Dillon used to say they are. And the night too, that was her mask going. Oh, I'd love a big juicy pear now to melt in your mouth like when I used to be in the longing way. Then I'll throw him up his eggs and tea and the mustache cap he gave to make his mouth look bigger. I suppose he'd like my nice cream too. I know what I'll do. I'll go about rather gay, not too much singing, a bit now and then. And I'll start dressing myself to go out. I'll put on my best shift and drawers and let him have a good eye full of that to make Mickey stand for him. I'll let him know if that's what he wanted, that his wife is fucked. Yes, and damn well fucked too. Up to my neck nearly, and not by him. 5 or 6 times hand running. There's the mark of a spark on a clean sheet. I wouldn't bother to even iron it out. That ought to satisfy him. If you don't believe me, feel my belly. Unless I made him stand there and put him into me. I'll have a mind to tell him every scrap and make him do it in front of me. Serve him right if it's all his own fault. If I am an adulteress, as the thing in the gallery said. Oh, much about it if that's all the harm we ever did in this vale of tears. God knows it's not much. Doesn't everybody? Only they hide it. I suppose that's what a woman is supposed to be there for, or he wouldn't have made us the way he did, so attractive to men. And then, if he wants to kiss my bottom, I'll drag open my drawers and bolt it right out in his face as large as life. He can stick his tongue 7 miles up my hole as he's there, my brown part. And then I'll tell him I want £1, or perhaps 30 shillings. I'll tell him I want to buy underclothes. And then if he gives me that, it won't be too bad. I don't want to soak it all out of him like other women do. I could often have written out a fine check for myself and write his name on it for a couple of pounds. A few times I forgot to lock it up. Besides, he won't spend it. I'll let him do it off on me behind, provided he doesn't smear all my good drawers. I suppose that can't be helped. I'll do the indifferent, 1 or 2 questions. I'll know by the answers, and he's like that. He can't keep a thing back. I know every turn in him. I'll tighten my bottom well, and let out a few smutty words, smell rump, or lick my shit, the first bad thing that comes into my head. Then, I'll suggest about it. Yes, oh, wait now, sonny, my turn is coming. I'll be quite gay and friendly over it. Oh, but I was forgetting this blade passive thing. Phew. You wouldn't know which to laugh or cry, where it's such a mixture of plum and apple. No, I'll have to wear the old things. So much the better. It'll be more pointed. He'll never know whether he did it or not. There, that's good enough for you. Any old thing at all. And then I'll wipe him off me just like a business, his own mission. And then I'll go out and have him eyeing up at the ceiling. Where's she going now? Make him want me. That's the only way. quarter after. What an unearthly hour. I suppose they're just getting up in China now, coming out their pigtails for the day. Well, we'll soon have the nuns ringing the Angelus. Nobody to come in and spoil their sleep except an odd priest or two for his night office or the alarm clock next door at cockshut clattering the brains out of itself. Let me see if I can doze off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What kind of flowers are those they invented like the stars? The wallpaper in Lombard Street was much nicer. I'd better lower this lamp and try again so I can get up early. I'll go to Lamb's there beside Spin Ladders and get them to send us some flowers to put about the place in case he brings him home tomorrow. Today, I mean. No. Friday's an unlucky day. First I want to do the place up anyway. The dust grows in it, I think, while I'm asleep. Then we can have music and cigarettes. I can accompany him. First I must clean the keys of the piano with milk. Oh, what'll I wear? Shall I wear a white rose? Or those fairy cakes and Liptons? Oh, I love the smell of a rich bag shop at 7.5 pence a pound. Or the other ones with cherries and then the pinky sugar, 11 pence a couple of pounds of those. And a nice plant for the middle of the table. I'd get that cheaper. Wait, where's the... I saw them not long ago. Oh, I love flowers. I'd love to have the whole place swimming in roses. God of heaven, there's nothing like nature. The wild mountains, then the sea and the waves rushing, and the beautiful country with fields of oats and wheat and all kinds of things, and all the fine cattle going about. That would do your heart good to see. Rivers and lakes and flowers, all sorts of shapes and smells and colors, springing up even out of the ditches, primroses and violets. Nature it is. As for them saying there's no God, I wouldn't give a snap of my 2 fingers for all their learning. Why don't they go and create something? I've often asked him. Atheists, or whatever they call themselves, go and wash the cobbles off themselves first. Then they go howling for the priest, and they dying, and why? Why? Because they're afraid of hell on account of their bad conscience. Ah, yes, I know them well. Who was the first person in the universe before there was anybody that made it all? Who? Ah, they don't know. And neither do I, so there you are. They might as well try and stop the sun from rising tomorrow. The sun shines for you, he said. The day we were lying among the rhododendrons on Holt Head, in the grey tweed suit and a straw hat, the day I got him to propose to me, yes. First I gave him the bit of seed cake out of my mouth, and it was leap year like now, yes, 16 years ago. My God, after that long kiss I nearly lost my breath, yes. He said I was a flower of the mountain, yes. So we are flowers all over his body. Yes, that was one true thing he said in his life. And the sun shines for you today. Yes. That was why I liked him. Because I saw he understood or felt what a woman is. And I knew I could always get around him. And I gave him all the pleasure I could, leading him on until he asked me to say yes. And I wouldn't answer first. Only looked out over the sea and the sky. And I was thinking of so many things he didn't know of. Molby and Mr. Stanhope and Hester and Father and old Captain Groves and the sailors playing All Birds Fly and I See You Stoop. and washing up dishes, they called it, on the pier, and the sentry in front of the governor's house with the thing around his helmet, poor devil half roasted, and the Spanish girls laughing in their shawls and their tall combs, and the auctions in the morning, and the Greeks and the Jews and the Arabs, and the devil knows who else from all ends of Europe, and Duke Street, and the fowl market, all clucking outside, Larry Shannons and the poor donkeys sleeping half asleep, and the vague fellows in the cloaks asleep in the shade on the step, and the big wheels of the carts, the bulls, and the old castle thousands of years old, yes, and those handsome Moors all in white and turbans like kings asking you to sit down in a little bit of a shop, and Rhonda with the old windows of the posadas, glancing eyes, a lattice hid for her lover to kiss, the iron, and the wine shops half open at night, and the castanets, and the night we missed the boat at Alcáceras, the watchman going about serene with his lamp, and oh, that awful deep down toward, oh, and the sea, crimson sometimes like fire, and the glorious sunsets, and the fig trees in the Alameda Gardens, yes, and all the queer little streets and pink and blue and yellow houses, and the rose gardens and the jasmine and the geraniums and the cactuses and Gibraltar as a girl where I was a flower of the mountain, yes, when I put the rose in my hair like the Andalusian girls use, or shall I wear red, yes, and how he kissed me under the Moorish wall, and I thought, well, as well him as another. And then I asked him with my eyes to ask again, yes. And then he asked me, would I, yes, to say yes, my mountain flower. And first I put my arms around him, yes, and drew him down to me so he could feel my breath all perfume, yes. And his heart was going like mad, and yes, I said, yes, I will.